All right, we got another guest interview for you for a Spin That Shit podcast special. Austin Stirling's with us. He's a great guy, talented individual. We're happy to talk with him. Recently saw him at the Hi-Fi opening up for the Lost Dog Street Band. And he's got a new album out called With the Wolves. So definitely give that a spin. Give it a listen. Support him. He's a great artist. Like I said, very creative. And we like what he's doing. So also follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. So help us grow this page. We appreciate all the support, and let's dive into it.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. I'm on it. It's going.
All right, we got Austin on the show today. Austin Stirling with an I. Let's remember that. Google searching.
Yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah. So how you been?
Good, man. I haven't done the Zoom thing before, so but it was pretty effortless. I just downloaded it on my phone and it worked out. So but yeah, things are good, man. Not a whole lot really going on right now, so not a lot to report.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely hard for artists this time.
It looked like shows were going to pick up. You know, they're kind of middle of the summer. People were like eager to book and throw some shows and all that, but it just didn't ever. Then those all got canceled, you know, and it kind of seemed to happen like that, like 2 or 3 times. Like people would book and then they'd cancel. So we're just trying to roll with it, see what happens.
Why don't you start off, give us a little background, a little bio, how you got into what you're doing right now?
Yeah. Man, this was actually like, so originally it was the Hangdog Hearts was like, the band, you know, and that kind of, people came and went and all that. And I was always kind of the one keeping it going and keeping it, writing all the songs and singing. And that wasn't really like my goal or anything. It just kind of happened that way. So after a while, I finally just kind of got tired of people coming and going, you know, and me trying to keep the ship afloat. And and then the Hangdog Hearts kind of became like solo, like me. And then it was confusing for people. So they'd come to shows and they'd be like, hey, where's the Hangdog Hearts, drummer? Where's the Hangdog, all that stuff. So I finally just started going by just my name, just, I guess, to keep it simple, but I never really wrote a song or anything until I was about 26 or 27, something like that. I don't think I ever like actually wrote a song. So, I just started doing it, and now that's what I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So no, like previous, what childhood upbringing was like as far as music? You just listened?
Man, it was lame. Love my parents, but they when it comes to music, like I think my dad, my dad passed away a couple years ago, but I think he was way more into music than we realized, but my mom definitely is like, if the radio's on in the car and it's too loud, she's like, it's yelling at me, and she turns it off. And that's been like my whole life. So, not really a lot of like artistic expression or anything like that. So I was really kind of the odd man out, like the black sheep of the family. Nobody really, understood me on that level, which is okay. I don't really blame them, an artsy little kid that like hangs Barbie doll heads from a ceiling is probably going to look weird to like people who aren't artsy, So
I went to Heron School of Art, pretty liberal school downtown.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of talk about this new album you got going. Okay. So your newest album compared to the previous album, there wasn't a big gap in between releases. So I don't know if was it songs you already had on the back burner, or you were just in a time where it's like writing was really flowing, so you just kind of went with it.
So with the Wolves, I got to try to keep track. So you're talking about with the Wolves, right? Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, man. So I'm always writing, and I kind of have a process that works really well for me, to where I can just pump quite a few songs out when I'm ready to do that. And I'm always that process is always kind of happening. And so like with the Wolves, some of those songs were songs that I wrote, for usually like an album, like it's usually like, depending on how people go about it, about a year from when you start it to when it's maybe finished and released, give or take. So some of those songs were written within that like beginning of that year or 4 years earlier. So there's really not like I don't really like say like, okay, I'm going to work on this next album and then write songs specifically for this next album. I kind of am always writing and recording, and then I'll take songs that seem like they fit together, and then that'll be the album,
Yeah. Speaking of them fitting together, I mean, I kind of had like a folk Dark Side of the Moon type of vibe with some of your transitions and intros into songs.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's like one of my favorite albums. So
I was wondering if it was, or maybe who else you kind of grew up listening to, or who kind of shaped your art.
So here's one. There's two sides of looking at this. It's like when people ask like, how are you influenced? Who influences you? And I mean, I think regardless, you're gonna be influenced by people, but I think with the way I figured out I was like, I'm blessed enough to like do the kick drum kind of banjo thing, the stuff with my feet and the banjo, that I was able to find my own voice within that. And I didn't feel the need to like reach outside for ideas, for inspiration. It just at this point, it just feels like so natural to sit down and play like that. And I got to be careful because I can get in a rut of like playing the same stuff and writing the songs the same way and basically rewriting the same song over and over again. And like, that works for like Johnny Cash, but like, I don't know that I can get away with that, but like influences wise, man, like I do love Pink Floyd, like, and Dark Side of the Moon is hands down like one of my all-time favorite. And I liked just the idea of like an album taking you on a journey. So my whole thought with the Wolves, that album was, I'd had, my wife and I had like a really rough journey, and I kind of wanted to bring people into that a little bit and my headspace and I guess the midst of that. So it was just kind of my attempt of making something like emotional, some people might feel it, some people might not get it. I don't know. So
yeah, I've been listening to it a lot here this past week because recently saw you at the Hi-Fi with the Lost Dogs.
Oh yeah,
great show, by the way. And
yeah, thanks, man.
So I've been kind of digging into your stuff at work lately, and that it's almost like this. I want to call it like a spiritual journey. Like it has this vibe.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really cool. That's why I reached out to you, wanted you to, it just seemed different. You're not doing what everyone else is trying to do.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Yeah, I wasn't. Man, it's getting hot in here. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's things I would like to do. Like I would like to. It'd be really fun to make like a real bluesy kind of like juke joint, kind of like Junior Kimbrough, Fat Possum Records. That would be so fun for me to like make an album like that and then like play that live. I think I would do that really well, but I don't really have the capabilities to do something like that. And it seems like anytime I try to go for like a sound specifically, I try to go for something, it just sounds like garbage, and it's just not a good thing when I end up doing that. Some people can do that and they're so good at it. And I'm kind of envious at times, like, man, you can just like go after and try to do a specific thing and you like nail it. The only times I don't ever feel like I nail it, but like I'm like, oh, that turned out better than I expected, is when I didn't mean to do that. So I don't remember what your question was. Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent.
Oh no, we're just the general vibe of the album and coming up with the sound. Now you piece your stuff all together by yourself, right? Or do you bring other players?
For the most part, I will. So usually what I start out with is, I would say about 90% of the song is done within like the first 12 hours of me like working on it. So like, normally like I'll go to record a song, I'll get like my scratch tracks done, my vocals and my guitar. And then, I'll get better tracks of those if those aren't like good enough or clicking with me. And then I'll start just kind of layering and finding melodies and things like that, just stuff that's interesting. And usually once it clicks, I just work on it that day. And it usually is 6 to 10 hour period, maybe 6 to 10 hours. And 90% of the song is like done. And then if I need like a lead player, I'm not a lead player. So if it needs lead, I will usually hit up a friend of mine for either violin or guitar, usually. Unless I feel like the song's simple enough that I can get by making up a lead, which I would say it's about 50-50. If I'll throw a simple lead on there, and sometimes it works. But yeah, so to answer your question, yeah, like I write out the drum parts normally within the program, within my DAW, and then bass parts, guitar parts, and whatever else, I'll just kind of work those parts out. So
yeah. I just think it's cool too that you're using a bow on a banjo.
Oh yeah,
Some of your previous stuff too, and
yeah,
just stuff you don't see every day. It's just kind of refreshing.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I got a song I'm working for. So I've got an album that I'm hoping that's going to be done the spring, and I'm going to slowly release the songs until the full album. And then, so I did spring, summer was like a split EP. So next fall as long as everything goes as planned, I'm going to have fall and winter. So the second half of that split EP. So it's going to be like 2 separate EPs for that. And on fall is going to be a lot more like rootsy kind of dark roots kind of feel. And I made this, I had this guitar neck. I don't even remember where I got it. It was just sitting in my shop, and I just kind of screwed it to a piece of wood, strung it up, put a bridge on it and a pickup, and bowed that on a couple songs, and sounded pretty cool. So I think it's gonna stay. So it might be on an album.
Awesome, that's cool. Inventive.
Yeah. Too much time on my hands, I think. It might be more accurate, but
you talk about your album art and choosing that imagery. I'm going to put some of the pictures here on the screen for people, but what that means and symbolizes. And
so I met my cousin is a good friends with a guy named B Major, and he's a rapper down in like Atlanta or something, and he's like real tight with Justin Bieber. And I remember this is like years and years ago, like 7-8 years ago. I was on tour, met up with my cousin. He's like, "Oh, you got to meet my friend, B Mage or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay." So I met him. Super cool dude, real nice. And he told me that there's truth in this, and it's hard for me to like swallow. But he's like, "Man, you gotta like people got to see your face. Like people got to know who you are. Like people have to know what they're looking at. You know, like who they're listening to. If you can make them feel familiar with you, you know, that's going to attach them to your music that much more." And it took me years to like process that. And because I don't want my, you know, I don't want my face plastered all over, you know, it's just, but I guess like, it's kind of selfish of me to just be like, no, I don't. You know, I'm still processing it. Like, I don't even really have a good like thing. So I thought a good way to maybe bring people in is just to have like my picture on the album with no words, except for maybe on the side and the back of the CD, and just kind of leave it at that. Like leave it simple. And
yeah.
So that was like the start of it. And then it's just usually like whatever cool picture I can find, you know, that seems to work and fit with the album, you know. There's really nothing much deep. I wish I had a really cool deep answer for you.
I was more curious on my own level. Just it looks like a wet plate photography.
Oh yeah. That was one I got done here in Indianapolis. Dale Bernstein did it.
Who was it?
Dale Bernstein.
Oh, that's so funny.
You know Dale
taught me in school, and I shoot wet plate too.
Oh yeah, dude.
He actually took a picture of me too, holding a banjo. So that's funny.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Yeah. Michelle, my buddy's wife, Michelle Pemberton, kind of hooked me up and introduced me to him.
Okay.
And
I actually know Michelle too.
Yeah. It's a small world, man. Everybody knows everybody.
We're Hoosiers, man.
Yeah. Everybody just ends up bumping into each other at some point.
That's funny.
But
I know we're
Gary, you got any crazy questions for him?
Yeah, we're kind of stopped right now, or limited as far as playing gigs. But do you have a favorite place you've played, or somewhere you really like to get to?
Man. Well, I love the Hi-Fi. Obviously, like the Hi-Fi is awesome. The people there are awesome. I just love that place. And it just feels like every time I play there, it's becoming more and more of like a home base, you know. Wisconsin is always super, super supportive and kind. And I've made so many friends up around that area, you know. It's hard. Like I can't get to everywhere I would like to play, you know. I'm limited. And Reggie's in Chicago is a really fun place, and I love playing there. I got a lot of friends there, and they've been really good to me over the years. And I'm trying to think. And I've played just the most random places, so it's hard to kind of sift through all of them in my mind. But
have you played Muddy Roots?
Yeah, I did that numerous years.
On that lineup.
Yeah, I did that numerous years, and I haven't done it for a handful of years. I just have ended up booking other things on that weekend, you know,
right,
in place of that. But I should probably get back and hit up Jason, see if he'll let me play again or something.
I seen him. I also saw you once at the Hi-Fi. It was a while back with Woody Pines. And that was when I first found your music.
Okay.
That was probably like 3 years ago or something.
I don't even remember that gig. I don't even drink. That's pathetic.
Hey, you're busy, man.
I guess.
What
else I was going to tell you? Oh, and I love your Instagram, by the way. It's hilarious. The sweet tea and jokes.
Oh yeah, So my wife is always, if my wife was here right now, she would say, if you could only see him at home, she's like, because she loves to tell everybody that she sees a side of me that nobody else ever sees. And I'm just constantly, I'm never serious. I'm never, I mean, I will have serious conversations, but if it's not a serious conversation or we're talking about something deep, I'm usually just annoying everybody around me. So like, it's just kind of like, and I you know, man, like I don't like social media is great. I don't like it. I would rather not have to deal with it, but it is a part. It's, I mean, it's free advertising, and I'd be a fool not to try to use it. And I'm not great at it. I try to, but I'm like, if I have to use this, I'm gonna like at least put like good stuff out there and like positive stuff, and try to make people like at least smile, you know, throughout their week and stuff. And like, so the jokes thing, that's just because like like 2 years ago, I did hot chocolate and jokes, where I was like sitting in front of my fire with like a sweater on, and so sweet tea and jokes. And then I think next, so this fall and winter, I think I'm gonna do it's one of two things. I've got one or two ideas. It's gonna be sexy time and jokes with Austin, and I don't know what that's gonna look like. It could get scary.
I already know. I already got a vision.
Yeah, like on a rug or something. Like
you need to be
Burt,
sprawled out.
yeah,
on
Burt Reynolds
rug.
style with a bunch of puppies on me or something. And then pretentiousness and jokes with Austin Sterling.
Some glasses.
Yeah, like, and just a bunch of like really pretentious jokes, which is actually a thing. So I think I might do that one.
That'd be good.
So
This might
Yeah.
be something that you would do, Garrett.
I might do that.
Start doing this.
So, do you have a favorite part of kind of this process of music making, and maybe a least favorite part? Maybe that's social media or something that maybe people don't think of.
I don't like rehearsals. I don't like. I think I have such a revolving door of like people that play with me that rehearsals are just exhausting for me, so that's a very not fun part that I don't like. I love the recording process at home. Absolutely hate the recording process in a studio. And I think it's a big reason why I shifted to do it in my house. For one, financially, I can put out way more songs. I can just keep recording and putting stuff out at home. But at home, I've got the freedom to like run to my kitchen and like grab an empty soup can and smack on that for like percussion or something with my finger, like, and which I do that stuff. I'm always like trying to pick up weird things and find like different sounds. So I really enjoy that process. In the studio, it's hard to do that because all I'm thinking the whole time is like, if I go pick up that soup can and mess with it for an hour, that's going to cost me, that stupid soup can is going to cost me $65
Right.
or $75 or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are, I guess, two parts to it. I absolutely love being on the road and touring and driving and just being with my wife. And like, we just like live for that, being exhausted and stopping at some weird gas station at 2 a.m. and not sure if you're going to get shanked or not. Like, that's exciting, to think like, am I going to, I got to get gas. I got to get gas. Am I going to have to fight for my life? That's exciting.
Keep you on your toes.
Right. So yeah, that's
we've been in those situations.
Yeah.
So those found sounds you were talking about.
We have a.
Oh, I'm going, Justin. Sorry. The found sounds, like I don't know, crunching through leaves times. Are those all things you've recorded for this album? For the most part.
Say it again. What was you said crunching through what?
The found sounds you were kind of talking about, like your soup can. So crunching
Oh, yeah.
POEs and the chimes and that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe the wolves. Did you get real wolf sounds from your yard?
Yeah, no, I wish. No, I don't remember where I got those, but yeah, man, like I could get even weirder with albums, but I don't think it's going to be like enjoyable for people. So I kind of like, I try to keep myself on a little bit of a leash because I think I could go a little, little crazy with it. But yeah, I like just finding stuff and seeing how I can mesh it in to a song or an intro or in between two songs and see how I can like interweave it and make it actually work instead of just not working and sounding stupid,
Yeah, I could see that.
And finding sounds that are pleasing to hear, not like, okay, so like Pink Floyd, I love Time. I hate hearing the clocks at the beginning. Like, it's so annoying. And it goes on for like 90 or like 60, not even quite a minute. I'm trying to remember, like 54 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And it's just way too long. So like, I want to find sounds, but I don't want it to be like
overwhelming.
Yeah, not pleasing to listen to. So
yeah, you could just do your more experimental stuff under a different name and keep that kind of on its own.
Yeah,
so you can still express yourself,
Yeah, that's something that people talk about as far as like if you're gonna do like say you're gonna do this sound, but you got something that's like this sound, like you should keep those two different things. And I always kind of, I don't know, like I've always looked at it as like Austin Sterling as like an umbrella to like a bunch of different things. And I was like, man, if I just start doing something, like if I want to do something that's heavier and more like more like metal and screaming, I'll still put that under Austin Sterling along with this singer-songwriter ballady love song. That's Austin Sterling still too. But like, if I just do it unapologetically, then maybe people just accept it and not give me crap about it. Cause I think like I see a lot of people do like this one thing they do, but then when they kind of like branched off just even a little bit, people just rip them apart. I think if they expect me to maybe branch off or something, they're going to be like, oh, okay. Like whatever.
It's a good point. Happened to Garth Brooks. Chris Gaines. He got ripped for that.
I don't know what that was.
But Hank Williams III, he does just pretty much anything he seems to kind of want.
Yeah. And he's got, the whole Ass Jack thing, or like Andrew Bird, which I love Andrew Bird, but he does like Andrew Bird's, and then he's got like it's still Andrew Bird and the whatever, and his Angry Bowl of Fire. And that was like a whole nother project with a different sound than his like looping, whistling stuff that he normally does. Which is still an option for me. Like, like Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, Ryan Adams and, whatever he kind of does there, I could do that. I just don't have, I don't have a solid enough band that I can trust to be like, members that and the problem is it's not, I don't mean for that to sound like derogatory in a way of like, I don't trust them. It's, they usually the case is people can't play as much as I play. That's usually the problem. So I end up having to kind of like pick it out of a pool of friends and players. So yeah, just to clarify.
Yeah, that definitely makes it difficult.
Yeah.
We have a list of kind of 5 questions that we're going to be asking every interview. Every interview.
Yeah.
No. Let's see here. Which one do we want? Well, let's go with what's your dream artist to work with? If you had to collaborate or
Maybe Andrew Bird, because I mean he plays fiddle, and I feel like, and he's just killer. So I feel like if him and I were like paired up, and he could do his fiddle thing and I could do my thing, I think it would be a good pairing,
Mm-hmm.
Or Lindsay Stirling, and she could just dance circles around me. Not really.
Yeah.
I'll say Andrew Bird. I'll go with Andrew Bird. How's that? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, second one, and you can't pick Pink Floyd. I'm going to give you the other British bands: Beatles, Stones, or the Kinks.
So I appreciate the Beatles. I appreciate them. I like the earlier stuff. I like their I definitely like their early Beatles.
Okay.
I don't really like their later stuff. Here and there, maybe a song or a handful. Probably the Stones, I would say. Probably out of all those. But
You sound like me. That's how I answered the whole thing.
yeah.
I like that earlier Beatles stuff. Then it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah,
appreciate
and
they did, but it's still they don't.
yeah, and I think their stuff was creative, and I appreciate it. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Right.
And I like the Kinks. I like a handful of their songs, but I mean, I don't even know the last time I even listened to them.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's see another one. Name an artist or a song that you're embarrassed to listen to, admit to.
So I literally listen to everything. We were on tour, and it was like, I don't remember who it was. It was a player that was playing with me, and it was like one of the first times they were with me on the road for like an extended amount of time. And he's played with all kinds of people. He goes, dude, a lot of people are like, oh, I listen to everything. I love everything. And he was like, I legit don't ever think I've really met somebody until you that like legit loves, will listen to every kind of style of music. So you're saying like guilty pleasure wise, like what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Like
female
Arlo
pop.
McKinley.
I love like female pop stuff, like Bishop Briggs is all right, but
Yeah.
like Halsey, Banks, Banksy, Lana Del Rey, of course, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I really like pop music, like an 80s pop music,
Mm-hmm.
like a ton. But I think it's because it's so different from like what I play and I write. It's a good kind of reset and a good way for me to kind of get out of all that stuff.
Right.
So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything worse than that I like. I don't know, man.
Kind of on the 80s or more pop vibe, pop feel. There's a band I'm getting into a lot called Red Hearse right now. It's Jack Antonoff, one of his offshoots.
Red Hearst?
Red Hearse, like a funeral car.
Oh,
Check
I'm
it
going to
out.
look that up.
Poppy, it's synthy, and it's pretty good. A lot of falsetto. Love it.
Okay.
I'm into it. So next one, don't say fiddle unless it's really a fiddle. But if you could just pick up an instrument tomorrow that you don't play or you'd like to learn how to play.
I'm pretty simple. Like, I don't really like a lot of people are like, I have a lot of guitar player friends that are like, they're like, dude, they're talking to me and they're like, you could be a ripping like lead guitar player. Like, and they're like, you're like right there. All you got to do is like learn your scales And I'm like, I'm okay. Like, I don't really care to, like, I don't know theory or anything. And in a lot of ways, I think that might hold me back, but in a lot of ways, I think it forces me to really think hard about what I'm doing. And sometimes it makes me think out of the box, and I don't really want to lose that. So I think it's 50-50. I think it's half ignorance and half like probably a smart move that I'm like kind of stubborn about what I learn and don't learn. But maybe if I had to say something, I guess violin or piano, if I had to like say it. Yeah.
Nice.
Or hurdy-gurdy.
Nice. All right, the last one is basically give us the best, what you would consider the best Saturday night ever. Like, what would you want to do within your free time? It's a good ass night.
Oh man. Again, I'm pretty boring. Literally just hanging out with my wife. Like just as long as I'm with Lily, I don't care what we're doing. Like, her and I have so much fun together that it literally doesn't matter what we do. She would have to definitely be a part of it. Sushi would have to definitely be a part of it. Yeah, I don't.
Good food and good company. That's all you really need in life.
Yeah, man. Like, fun movie. We watch a lot of movies. Like, I love movies. So, I don't know. I mean, aside from playing like a really good show, playing a good show where people are like really like enjoying it and getting something from it, and where I'm like it's a good venue with good sound and a good stage. And the reason I care about that is because when you have good sound and a good stage and even lighting and all that kind of stuff, when you have that stuff, it really enables you to capitalize on what you can do, So like I played last weekend in Fort Wayne. It was an outdoor gig. I normally probably wouldn't have taken it, but like, beggars can't be choosers right now at this point. And the kick wasn't mic'd. It was outdoors, just my vocals, my banjo going through a PA, and it was whatever, but it always kind of bothers me because I know if like I had big subs and that kick was going through those subs and it was booming and it was really good sound, like at an indoor treated venue, I know I can deliver. You know what I mean? Like, I know I can bring something worthwhile to people that paid money to be there. Right. Kind of going on a tangent, but all that to say, that would be an awesome Saturday night too.
Yep.
So
sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Gary, got any more questions for the man? I don't want to keep him too long.
I think if you could drop where the people can find them, check you out. That's what we're here for. So.
Yeah. Obviously Facebook, Instagram, Austin Stirling with an I, Stirling. I got a website. I never look at it. So, but Instagram, Facebook is usually the place. And then there's just gobs of YouTube videos, whether it's like look up Austin Stirling or the Hangdog Hearts, and a bunch of stuff will come up. So
iTunes, Spotify,
iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, all that kind of stuff, which I guess is iTunes, kind of the same thing. But it's all out there, and I don't know. And then there's a bunch of websites that I'm on that I don't even know about. So every now and then I discover a new one and I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
Uh-oh.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, when you like release an album, like, so I go through like disc makers and then CD Baby, and you can buy this whole package where they just like put you on everything, and you just pay a down. You probably, and which I just do that because to go submit all that is a nightmare, and they just do it all for you. So there's tons of crap that I'm on that I don't even know what it is.
Whatever avenue you can get out there and be exposed.
Yeah, whatever works, man. I don't know. I'm not picky, but
all right, man. Well, we'll let you go. We appreciate you being on the show, and hopefully we can do it in the future.
For sure, man. Maybe we can talk before next spring-ish here, and we can talk about the next album. So
yeah, it'd be great. I'd love to have you back. So.
All right, man. Nice meeting you guys.
You too.
Keep the jokes.
Yeah, I'll keep the jokes rolling.
All right. Later.
All right, man. See you guys.